shop. Been one of those weeks for sure. We've all had them. We do a little surface grinder work, a little horizontal mill work. I throw a piece off of the mag chuck on the surface grinder. That's a little exciting. That's the first time I've done that. But the project ends up pretty good. And then, I'm squaring up a block for a future project on the horizontal mill here, and that ends badly. The part ends up okay, but got some damage to a mill arbor. That's the way it goes. I didn't catch that on film, but you'll see the aftermath. But anyway, let's get started. Alright, so I have a set of parallels here that are tagged Grimes, Roy Grimes. That is the gentleman that owned the toolbox that I got in the estate sale. He's long gone by now. And they're a set of parallels that I think that he started and never finished. And, they're pretty rough. Got some corrosion and stuff on here. I'll bring you in. I'll show you some of the issues that these have. And, some of the things that I expect to possibly run into. Alright, so of course it's raining. That's what it does in Kentucky in the spring, is rain constantly. But anyway, you'll hear it on the roof. But you can see, they're somewhat tagged Grimes. Looks like they've been ground on a little since. You can see we got a large, I already draw a little line there. But we got a step here, where grinder got away or something happened. And then we got another one on this side. Get that angle where you can see that. You can see that just right there. That's another dip in these. So if I put an indicator on these, they're they're not crazy off. They're within a half thou everywhere, but they're definitely not finished. Look at the corrosion on there. This guy got in really bad health. He couldn't tend to his tools and stuff. They were in an outside, unheated building, and some of them suffered, and these are no different. But from the looks of these, he never finished them. Something that he started on, because they were in the back corner of the toolbox. But, I'm excited to try to get these back in. They're really good steel. Got a file here. They're really hard. Now, they do have some bow in them. Okay, so we're on the surface plate, of course. Nothing there. This one's pretty flat. It's a little rotating about right here. And we flip it. You can see we're rotating out on the end. So that tells me that this is slightly bowed like a banana. It's not much, but it is something to be aware of. We'll see if we can't possibly do something about this bow, but it's so small, and that's hard to get out. So let's go over to the surface grinder and see if we can't true these up. Alright, so I have these on the plate. I know which way the bow is on these. And I'm going to put the bow up on both of these. And, you wouldn't think that a magnet would move, or it would be strong enough to pull that bow out, but it definitely is, even with something that thick. I ran into that on the first parallel I tried to grind on this. Tried to grind the bow out, and it's tough. It's real tough, to be honest, especially when you're just a beginner. But we're going to try. We're just going to do the sides of these first. Put them together here on the magnet. And I'm going to turn the magnet on, but just strong enough to where it holds these good. I'm not trying to clamp these things down super hard. I just don't want them to move when I'm grinding them, that's all. And I'm going to try that. So got my end stop set. I'm not going to try to hand crank this guy. This is an automatic grinder. So should be good. Come down. touch off. Middle here. Just see a spark. There we go. Turn my coolant on. Speed down just a little. And get this thing going across. Keep dusting this thing until we get a good even surface on it. See, we touched, there's more than a touch, but you get the idea. And they're on the back, on one of them little raised areas. So I'm just going to feed down a tenth or so and run back over them. Keep working over these, and we're just barely taking anything off, but I don't want to heat them up. Oh my! Wow! Wow! So, it's a good learning experience right there. I'm glad I'm the only one that's ever done that, but it's good for people to see. What I think happened is, that I had it, what I thought was a decent amount of hold. I mean, when I turned it on. But I turned it on, I turned it back off a little bit, and then that residual may have died down and it weakened. I just don't know. But all I know is that it threw the part off. What I think happened also is that was maybe a little heavy of a cut, or it loosened, whatever. Once that wheel started cutting into the part, it built up heat, the part expanded up into the wheel, and it was like a runaway train, and it chucked it right off. So I'll have to stop, redress the wheel, everything, because it probably could have torqued that wheel, who knows. But, there you go, I'll get you a shot of that in just a second. Didn't hurt anything, really. Thank goodness. Okay, so for safety reasons, I think I pulled the wheel off, I ring tested it. I mean, it took a pretty good hit there. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't good. So, I was going to just redress it, but then I thought, man, I better check it to make sure. So, pulled it off, rung tested, balanced it, put it back on, and I'm going to redress it, all that other stuff I just showed. But I think one of the more dangerous things in a shop is somebody's bench grinder, or grinders in general. They just don't seem that dangerous, but man, that wheel's moving fast, and they're basically glass in a way, so they can bust. At least I think that's what they're made out of. They're heated and melted together. So let me show you what we done to this. Not one of my proudest moments, but at least I know that I'm the only one that's ever done that. Right. So there it is. It's about 3 thousandths deep. I just don't know what happened. It either come up off the magnet some. I know my step over was probably too aggressive, and I probably wasn't as careful as I should have been when I touched off. So I'm gonna have to step up the safety a little bit. But gotta do it to learn, I guess. So that'll take a little grinding to get out. But I'll set everything back up exactly the way I explained before, and we'll hopefully get this out without any more surprises. Alright, so made a couple passes, you know, nothing exciting, but man, you know, something like that happening will make you stand up and take notice. But so I've just backed off, you know, trying to pay a little more attention maybe. Plus I need to maybe optimize where my coolant is, you know, getting on the parts too. Maybe get a wider nozzle that's right at the grinding point, basically, may help. You get the idea. I'll bring you back when we're getting close. So that's about 6 passes. All that's left is to grind out our scar that we put in there. But finish looks okay. Not perfect, but good enough for the sides. You know, that'll take another 4 or 5 passes probably to get that out. And these squeegees are nice. I've seen Steve Barton from Solid Rock Machine Shop use one of these, and I went out and bought one. I think you can get them for about $1, depending on where you get them. Cheap. Definitely makes things nice. That end's kind of rotten, so we'll use. Making my wife a lettuce bed frame. Friend and viewer Aaron Talley sent me these chaps. You know, the gloves and of course the hat. They take like 3 seconds to put on. I know it seems like overkill to, you know, use a saw to cut these, but my nephew got hurt real bad with the chainsaw. I think they're worth it, and I really appreciate it, so thank you, Aaron. And I mowed my yard for the first time. I didn't mow it up here yet, but this summer, so that's nice. Cold start. That's nice. You've got the ear muffs integrated, face shield. And literally these pop right off. So yeah, not a big deal to put on. Definitely I think a good idea. I'd mentioned, you know, wanting to get me a set. So I really appreciate it, Aaron. So thank you. Simple. Alright, so just a simple lettuce bed. You see we got some green going on the trees and stuff. You know, a lot changes in a couple weeks. It's, you know, in about probably 3 or 4 more weeks you won't be able to see, you know, 4 foot into the woods. You won't be able to see that driveway across the creek for sure. So, you know, things change quick. But simple little lettuce bed frame. She's going to fill that with dirt and then plant some lettuce in it. Here's number 1. We definitely still got some bow in them. This stuff's hard to get out though. We're gonna 10th there. Try number 2. Bow makes it hard. I'd say, you know, they're within a couple tenths, and I'm happy with that. So now We got to do the tops of them. They're definitely better than they were. See, we still got to get that out.
Buddy gonna get his picture too.
Yeah.
They might want to see that dog.
Yeah.
They'd be more interested in him than they would us shoving it there.
Yeah. Probably would. You always think you're closer than you are when you're trying to touch off. Oh, there we go. So just gonna dress these off. You get the idea. It's gonna be deja vu. We'll flip them and do the other side, then we're done. Alright, so I got them cleaned up. And show you what we got. And 0. I'm actually pretty pleased with them. I already checked them. So about a needle width over 1/10. Basically the same, you know, not too bad really, considering everything, and being my first set of parallels, and they're, you know, square across, which is good. You know, within reason. Shop grade for sure. But check that out. We took a set of parallels that were really unusable condition that Mr. Grimes started, and we finished them. And they're pretty flat. You know, they're not perfect, but I'm not a perfect grinder either, so there we go. You know, not bad for our first shot. Got a little viewer mail that I want to share with you. All this was sent by the same person, and I just want to say a big thanks. It was Tom Shepard. I believe he's out of California. It's been a few weeks ago, so I apologize if I get any of this information wrong, but he had contacted me, and I think it was through Instagram, and he asked me if I'd be interested in a 50 taper tool setter. He said he didn't have any 50 taper stuff, and it was sitting under his bench, you know, just in his way. And that's what this is, you know, a setup tool. So I'll bring it in and show it to you in just a second. But he sent me this, probably weighs 30 pounds or better. Sent me a 2" to 50 taper holder, which is all nice. You guys have seen those before. And a few end mills. I pulled this guy out of the sleeve. It's brand new. It's a fast cut, 2" 3 flute rougher, so you know that wouldn't be cheap. And I really appreciate it. You know, appreciate any of the viewer mail. Anytime anybody goes through the trouble of giving something away and then boxing it up and paying shipping, and I just want to say thanks. I really definitely appreciate it. So thank you, Tom. Let me bring you guys in here. I want to show you this. I haven't cleaned it up yet. I plan on it, but I need to use it. All right, so all it is it's a tool holder really for setting up tools. I just got it held in the shaper vise here. This rotates and locks, and all you do set your tapers clean on it. But the rest of it needs cleaned up, so you just set your tool in it, you know, that you need to work on, because otherwise you got to stick these in the spindle. How else do you hold them to tighten the nuts and stuff on them, or, you know, to do anything really to them? there's no great way to hold something like this. So that is what they're for, to hold, I guess, and maybe even to indicate inserts on a shell mill or a face mill. So that's pretty neat. It definitely needs a good cleanup, and the bearings in it need cleaned up. It's full of dirt and stuff around here, but you get the idea. My uses for it will primarily just be for this right here, and that is loosening up the nuts on these large arbors. Alright, so all these spacers on this horizontal milling arbor, they're all precision ground. Each side is supposedly parallel to the other, and I've been going through. I got a box of them and checking a few here and there, and I was surprised to find that some of them that I have are not all that parallel, but luckily I have a surface grinder now, and this spacer here went from almost 4/10 out of parallel to within 1/10 or less. So I just dusted that on the grinder, and as I get better, I'll be able to improve that accuracy. So man, that's nice, being able to not rely on the accuracy of your tooling, and you can grind it to your content or happy. That's the great thing about a surface grinder, is that man, it frees you up, and now you can make tooling as accurate as your equipment will allow, which is nice. So I'm just fixing to mount the vise to this machine. I got a little project that I want to do with this thing. I haven't run it since I parked it here. Still a million, we're not done with this machine by any stretch. I just wanted to take a little break on it, I guess. I haven't leveled it, so that's got to be done. I need to pull the table off of it, clean the ways and stuff under it, because I'm still getting a little bit of rusty colored oil and stuff when I wipe the ways down, and I don't like that. I'm sure it's had moisture and stuff up under the table that need cleaned. I got a thrust bearing. It's either a thrust bearing or a radial bearing in one of these ends of the screw for the table that makes a little noise that I gotta investigate. And of course we gotta paint this thing. So all that's coming. But that's a big lift. That's just the beginning. I gotta fix this crooked handle that bugs me every time I see it. You get the idea. So just clean the bottom of of my Kurt vise, and getting ready to mount it. Gotta have a good flat, clean surface first. So let me get this on here, and I'll explain to you what I'm going to start. It's just a project. So I want this vise in the middle of the table. You gotta be perfect. I'm just going to trim in this vise, and I'll show you what I want to do. So we're just going to barely get started on this project here. And I don't know how much I'll show of it exactly, but a piece of 4140 in the vise here, and all I'm going to do is, this is one of a couple pieces that I got that are about this size, and I'm going to make some parallels, 4 parallels that are the same for my shaper vise. It has a big split in it like this one does, and I'm going to make one for fixed jaw, and then 2 for the fixed jaw, 2 for the movable jaw. So it'll be a 4-piece set. So this being 4140, I'm going to try to harden it and grind it and make them somewhat elaborate. But of course, we can just get started with the time that I have. So I need to pull off about 220 thousandths from this surface and square this block up. That's all I'm going to do. Pull off 100. For our first pass. Lock everything. An inch and a half a minute. That's a cutter that I ground. I think it's got 5 degrees on the primary. And that's an inch and a half a minute and 74 RPM on I think a 3.5-inch cutter. I'm just not for sure. I just set it conservative. Okay, so that cut's finished. Lower it just a little. Reverse. Now, I'm going to do the final. I only needed to pull off 220 off this. I'll grind the rest. I'm going to do the final 120. So basically do the same as last time. Pretty nice looking chips. It's more of a shearing action on this cutter. Okay, so plenty good on the finish. just a rough mill finish, but we're going to grind it so it doesn't matter anyway. So I'll flip it and square it. So we got two parallel surfaces, and I'm just trying to get this thing square, and it's a lot easier to come up with 4 small pieces, and I think I can use those just as well as I could use some longer parallels made out of this. That vise will take a minimum of 8 inches to span the entire bed of my shaper vise, so if I can just use 4 blocks, I mean, it really, as long as they're matched, same deal really. So that's kind of the game, and it's fairly involved to make these any bit nice at all, so it'll take a little while to get them done. Lance Baltzy sent me, you may know him, he hangs out with Adam and Keith Rucker and all those guys a lot. He was in a couple videos a while back of Adam's. So he had contacted me. I've talked to him before and asked me if I'd be interested in this 3/4 inch to 50 taper arbor. Said he would send it to me, so he did, and I really appreciate it. Thank you, Lance. Lance also sells precision ground flat stones, so if you're interested, I'll put his information below, and you can follow him on Instagram too. He doesn't have a YouTube channel yet, but he does have an Instagram. Well guys, it's been one of those weeks for sure. Turned the camera off. I was just going to finish this block up, and ended up throwing this out of the vise and ruining a 1.25 arbor. I was just going to finish it up as the last side. I guess I just didn't clamp it quite tight enough. The vise definitely was tight. I got a picture I'll roll in, the track marks that I left on the top of it. And probably torqued that arbor about 10 thousandths, so, unless I can fix it, it's pretty much junk. So threw something off the mag chuck. Work holding has been my issue this week, and, torqued an arbor. That's the way it goes sometimes, I guess. So me and Elizabeth are definitely going to the bash, thanks to a wonderful patron who helped us out tremendously on our flights. We went ahead and booked our hotel, so I guess it's on. So big thanks. I don't need any more support for going to the bash, and I'd like to say a huge thanks to those who did help, and it's not necessary anymore, so thank you guys. I appreciate it. But if you'd like to help out the shop, you still can. There's still a link in the description, but I don't need any more support to go to the bash, and I'll see some of you guys there. So thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. If you need anything, contact me through my email. Click on my little guy to subscribe. Big thanks to my patrons, viewers, subscribers. You know the deal. And that's it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.